Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week of Let's Talk But No Politics, okay? Presents this week in Pop Culture History Review, where I go back and I check out the postings that I made, graphics of things that happen in pop culture, and this is for the week of May 17th through the 23rd. So just strap right back into the nostalgia machine there and see if you can remember any of these events or anything maybe surrounding these events, movie openings, TV shows, finales, anything like that. That is what I am providing for you. Just going back, looking through time. And if you don't want to wait for the review, or you want to get a head start on the review and see what's going to happen, please go to the Facebook page, at the Let's Talk But No Politics OK Facebook page, and also check out the Let's Talk But No Politics OK podcast. New episodes every Sunday, BICBP Radio Network, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, and Audible, and also catch bonus episodes every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Helium Radio Network. So here we go. Very first one, May 17th, 2000, the final episode of Beverly Hills 90210 airs on Fox. I remember when the original, the first episode aired, and here is Brendan and Brandon. I do believe it's been years since I watched this. They're moving from Minnesota to Beverly Hills, and Beverly Hills was always, pop culture portrays Beverly Hills as the very glitzy, glamour area, and here they are from Minnesota, moving here. I believe their parents or father, mother got a new job, so there they are, and it goes on, and Luke Perry comes in, even though he's like 42 years old, and he plays a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old, but after that, I don't know too much. I know Melrose Place was kind of a spin-off. There was the one episode where Brian Austin Green and his friend, one of them shot himself or shot somebody. I can't remember correctly, but it was actually shocking that this show was, lasted into the 2000s, from all the way from 1990, I believe, or 1991, all the way to 2000, and that it had such a impact on everything. I know Shannon Doherty left at one point, and Tiffany Amber Thiessen, better known as Kelly Kapowski, came in. But this is definitely a piece of pop culture history. Even though I wasn't a fan, everybody knows about this. Everybody knows about Beverly Hills 90210. So the next one is May 18th, staying in the 2000s, 2001. Shrek is released in theaters. Classic. I believe DreamWorks. Not my favorite DreamWorks. It's kind of my second. Kung Fu Panda is my first, but Shrek is right up there. Some not so great sequels, but the original is just awesome. Eddie Murphy's playing Donkey. You got Mike Myers playing Shrek, doing a great voice. Chris Farley was originally supposed to be Shrek, so that would have been interesting to see also, but I think Mike Myers, either way, knocked it out of the park. Classic lines, ogres have layers, or what about parfaits? Parfaits have layers. I like parfaits, and just it's such a fun play on fairy tale creatures and this heroic fairy tale story and scene and everything else. To see some of your favorite fairy tale characters in action, Gingerbread Man, Pinocchio, all of them, just absolutely amazing. Love Shrek 100%. I think I've seen every single Shrek there was. I guess they're coming out with a Shrek the 5th. I'm not sure if that's needed. That might have to be a retrospect. if I do say so myself on that, because I've done one on the Matrix and Police Academy movies, and I gotta say, after a while, it's like we don't need any more. So that's something that could definitely be looked at as well. But May 18th, 2001, Shrek is released in theaters. So here we are, May 19th, 1989. Roadhouse is released in theaters. This was an action-packed week. Action-packed week, I gotta say, of just fun stuff. I don't want to spoil it anymore, but it is just absolutely action-packed and fun. Roadhouse, absolutely amazing. It's late 80s, early 90s, so you know what you're gonna see in there if you're a young boy. It's a lot of action, a lot of the other stuff, which I still remember watching Roadhouse for the first time. My friend Charlie was like, "Hey," uh, he brought over a tape, and I'm like, "Cool, we're gonna watch a movie." And Charlie always had awesome, uh, cool movies that were staples of the '80s and early '90s. Like I watched Best of the Best with him, and Best of the Best too. And then he brought over Roadhouse, and he was like, "Yo, you gotta watch this." And we watched it, and it was action. Patrick Swayze as Dalton just beating the crap out of people. Sam Elliott's awesome. The blind guitar player, that was super sweet as well too. Uh, and also Terry Funk. Terry Funk. At this point, I had no idea who Terry Funk even was. I did watch wrestling, but I don't think he was that big in the WWF at this point. Watched a little bit of WCW, but Terry Funk is in this movie, and that just makes it so much better now, knowing that Terry Funk is in this movie and everything else. I love Roadhouse. It's the best, as Peter Griffin would say. Roadhouse with a nice kick. So, May 20th, 1993, the final episode of Cheers airs on NBC. Cheers is, as I look back, is probably my favorite sitcom from the 80s. I used to watch repeats on Comedy Central all the time. I would, I've watched the series twice, Netflix and Hulu, and I believe it's on Paramount as well, or maybe Peacock. But I've watched the whole entire series through and through. So if you're seeing the graphic, that's why. Sorry for Ted Danson's head being cut off, but uh, it was either that or I chop off Rhea Perlman at some point too. But I had it's very two-phase show, and it stood up even though Coach passed away. R.I.P. Coach. Not a fan of Diane. I'm kind of happy Diane left, but Diane left, and you're like, oh my goodness, how are they going to keep this show? Um, Christy Alley comes in as Rebecca Donaldson, not Rebecca Donaldson, I can't remember, but as Rebecca Donaldson's Full House. Comes in as Rebecca. Woody Harrelson comes in as Woody, and it's still good. I mean, it's still missing a couple pieces. I prefer going back over it. I mean, this is another thing that I like to do for another episode as well. I kind of prefer Coach over Woody, so but that's me now. Great iconic show. My favorite pop culture duos in here, or one of them at least, in Norm and Cliff, just absolutely great there. And also gave a spin-off of Frasier, which I did find some plot holes between Frasier and Cheers, but it's just great. Sam Maid Malone was like a kind of like a childhood hero of mine as well, because he was just so cool, just totally cool and totally awesome. So, May 20th, 1993, the final episode of Cheers airs on NBC. Like I said, there's a lot of great stuff going on. This was a great week for pop culture for just pop culture history, because here we go right here. May 21st, 1980, The Empire Strikes Back is released in theaters. This is probably what most people feel is the greatest Star Wars movie ever made. If you're just looking at them as movies, I understand Episode 4, A New Hope, is a staple. Everybody loved it, but as you look at it in a series, I feel this is the best one. This is probably my second. Yeah, this is my second favorite one. My favorite one is Return of the Jedi, but this is my second favorite one. Gives you a lot more action. We learned Vader is Luke's father, which was just the shocking surprise at all. I remember watching this on HBO, and it would be a big deal, seeing the TV guide. The Empire Strikes Back is going to be on HBO. grab some popcorn and some juice boxes and sit down and watch this movie as well. You see just so much more character development. The ending, a cliffhanger coming at the end with, Han Solo getting frozen in carbonite. Luke gets his robotic hand. I don't think I have to say spoiler alert for the Empire Strikes Back. I'm sorry, I don't think I do. I think if you're either into the Star Wars movies or you're not into the Star Wars movies. So either way, but the spoilers, I'm going to talk about it. The dismantling of C-3PO, introduction of Lando Calrissian. No, Jabba's not in this one, but he is mentioned. Because if you've watched it since you were a kid, before they did the remakes, the first time you actually saw Jabba was Return of the Jedi. But just so many. Boba Fett, there you go, right there. Boba Fett's first appearance in a movie, not in that holiday Christmas special, is in The Empire Strikes Back. You see the Slave One, Yoda, just so many great characters and so much more to the story that after you watch episode 4, you want more, and this gives it to you 100% more. Like I said, many people feel this is the greatest of all the Star Wars movies. It's my second favorite, but that's only because I'm a little bit more partial to Return of the Jedi. So May 21st, 1980, The Empire Strikes Back is released in theaters. So today, May 22nd, 1992, Johnny Carson makes his final appearance as the host of The Tonight Show. I've talked about this, I believe, last week when he made his last final TV appearance on the Late Show with David Letterman. And Johnny Carson is the icon. He is the standard that anybody should be held to when it comes to just all around talk shows, late night talk shows. You have Johnny Carson. You could probably maybe put David Letterman up there, but in my book, there's Johnny Carson. You got David Letterman, and then pretty much everybody else. Because this is the guy that did it. This is the guy that I feel made it popular. This is what I knew all of my life was Johnny Carson up to 1992 when I was about 10 or 11 years old. And it's kind of weird to see that. Now as an adult, it's a little bit different because you see so much come and go. But as a kid, when you're like, hey, Johnny Carson isn't going to be doing this anymore, it's going to be Jay Leno. And I think Jay Leno was doing Doritos commercials and stand-up. And I was like, why is the Dorito guy going to replace Johnny Carson? And it just didn't quite seem right. I don't think I've watched really any of the Tonight Show since he left, because that was such a great treat to be able to stay up, watch the Tonight Show, even though it came on so late. Even if you could stay up, it's right up there with Saturday Night Live, being able to stay up and watch Saturday Night Live. It's just absolutely amazing. Love Johnny Carson to this day. Another, like I said last time, another great pop culture duo in Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. They go hand in hand 100%. And May 22nd, 1992, Johnny Carson makes his final appearance as the host of The Tonight Show. R.I.P. Johnny. And May 23rd, 1984, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is released in theaters. George Lucas loves May. Just loves May. Going from my second favorite Star Wars movie to my favorite Indiana Jones movie, which a lot of people do not like this movie, but this was my Indiana Jones movie as a kid. I loved this one. I liked it better than Raiders of the Lost Ark. This movie was great. It was classic. There's so much more from when I watched it as a kid that stands out in my mind. From monkey brains to the eyeball soup, to the guy. It's been years since I watched this though. To the guy ripping out the people's hearts to sacrifice them. Short Round, right there, he's got it right there too. Short Round is the same kid that played Data in Goonies, so why would you not want to? So how could you not like it? And it's just absolutely amazing from all those things. The bridge scene is great. I remember we had a Burger King and it had a playground and it had like kind of a bridge like that, and I would try and reenact the scene in my head that I was Indiana Jones and I was going to go across this bridge and save the day. I loved Indiana Jones as a kid. My sons have watched Raiders with me, but couldn't get them past Raiders into Temple of Doom or The Last Crusade. Don't want to mention that fourth one at all, and I can't believe they're going. Here's another one. Let sleeping dogs lie, Hollywood. Let sleeping dogs lie. But Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. It's the best in my mind. I know a lot of people hate it. They don't think it's that great. It's a prequel, but it's still so awesome and still amazing. And I think when I get done here, I might actually try and go find it somewhere and watch it because I love it. It's great and it's the best one. It's so creepy. I think it's creepier. Like I watch Raiders and I think it's way creepier than Raiders. It has way more, other than the face melting in Raiders. Uh, I think it has. I know way more things to remember, especially if you watched it as a small child and they just kind of reach out and grab at you. But May 23rd, 1984, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is released in theaters. And that concludes this week in pop culture history for the week of May 17th to May 23rd. So thank you for watching this video, and remember to listen to new episodes of Let's Talk But No Politics Okay every Sunday, BICBP Radio Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, all those bonus episodes every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You'd think I would just know this. 7 p.m. Eastern, Helium Radio Network. Go check out those as well. And also, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. Definitely 100%. Please do that as well. Doing some great Let's Play, retro play, some tiering as well, tiering ranking, or however you want to say it. And with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.